Come on, 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 come on. One go, one go, one go, baby. Let me not fuck it up. Huh? Huh? What about now? Okay, this should work, man. Come on. Really? You're not gonna work your specific window? It doesn't need to be like full screened, maybe? No? You don't like that either, huh? God damn it. Well, back to ready or not, and then I'll just add a regular fucking screen capture. Window capture, sure. Window capture. And OneNote.txt. There we go. That's the fucking thing I want to. Why are you not the proper height? You should be. Hold on another little second, because there's something right here, and I think that's the client area that I'm supposed to be capturing that isn't being captured. Is it? Maybe not. Well, whatever. The on screen is something I did the other day about, I streamed it actually. I'm not gonna upload it to YouTube because I don't feel like it was that entertaining to watch, But it was. I'm trying to tune a PAD thing, whatever. It's a thing for stream, so I guess just stay tuned if you want to see it be completed at any point. God damn it, how do I fucking... why is the problem? What is up with this, man? Oh, wait, I know what's happening here. Okay, that's me being dumb, my bad. Window capture doesn't capture the search bar, so I'm just gonna, do a little cheeky expand vertically, and there we go. That should work. Okay. I don't even know how to draw this properly, but a lot of imagery in my mind is coming up as pictures. So I'm gonna draw the pictures that pop into my mind, and hopefully they'll be understandable. Okay, well, you have imagine the art or whatever art. Sure, let's be a bit more specific, I guess. Hold on. Painting. Right? God, what a G. What another G. Just like me. Painting. Okay, and this is, metaphorically the feel. Okay, let me do it a bit more booba shaped. Right. Booba as in the booba and kiki, the linguistics thing, not tits. I didn't mean tits. Whatever. Okay, so this is, let's say, the origin of painting as a I don't know, as a philosophy, or is it not a philosophy? As a what's the fucking term for it? I'm trying to come up with the word. I know the concept now. God damn it! Fucking why must I always? What's the term for it? Shut up, game, please. I'm busy currently. The music can stay for now, but in the moment you get a bit rowdy, you're going out along with the game. Also, this is probably not good to be to keep it at the top of the. You know what? I'm gonna keep the avatar so that there's something to look at while I think my fucking brains out of my nose. What's the fucking word for discipline? Disciplines. Christ. This is the origin of the discipline, right? Let's say this is the first guy who who does a painting, whatever that consists of, right? So this is the origin, temporarily. This is the origin point of painting, right? And as time goes on, well, okay, let me add another thing. When painting starts, God, this is so much of a fucking complicated concept for me to explain or understand, really, but I'm doing my best, okay? So when painting starts as a concept, as a discipline, there's this guy who's the first painter, basically, and who did, the first ape on the... I mean, I'm sure apes drew beautiful things before. I don't know if beautiful, but artist, whatever. Getting off the rails here. First guy who paints anything ever. That is the field of painting. That is the entirety, let's say, of the field of painting, right? Of the discipline of painting. And he is the best painter in the world, and ever, for that moment at least, because no one else has done it. So by lack of competition, he classifies, I guess. And then as time progresses, you have it start to expand a bit. Maybe let's do this in a different color. Maybe this is the 1,000 years after, and there's like a bit of painting. There's a few disciplines. There's a bit of shit that has been investigated or explored in the I don't want to fucking use the word, but I'm gonna, because I'm a pedantic piece of shit. The noosphere. I even gave it a French accent for whatever reason. Let's say this is like all the field, the entirety of the field of what humans can, can conceptualize, or what can be thought. What can be contained within a human mind, right? So that this is the whole of the everything related to painting that has that is knowable or that is thinkable, right? Which would be much larger, of course, than only this. But for the time being, bear with me. And so this is like after 1,000 years of the first man painting a cave a cave painting or whatever the fuck, you get to this point where some stuff has been investigated. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the ancient Egyptians doing the perspectives. Having their perspective for each drawing be standardized into well, the feet go sideways and the legs go front ways and the hands go depending on on whatever's happening, mostly front, but whatever. And the bodies usually go are also pictured from the front, and the heads as well. So there's like that standardization, whatever. Along as time goes, it grows in like layers. That the whole discipline of art grows, and as as time develops, and at some point we hit AI being a thing. And so let's say this shape is whatever whatever things have been investigated in art. Maybe this is like more. I don't want to apply too specific concepts to it, because I'm not thinking about it in too specific terms. But maybe this lobe is cubism. Maybe this is Dada, and this is this is Dadaism, and this is fucking God no gives a shit, puntillism or whatever, right? And so each person that dedicates themselves to art, I guess, brings does a little bit of expansion upon whatever, right? Like the every single person who does something new in art, adds a bit of a layer to something, right? And this is how the whole concept or what was the word I used? I probably should note it down so I don't forget it again. Discipline. So each person that does something that is preserved in the human consciousness, I guess, or within in the database that we have as a species or as a culture, on everything that gets remembered by someone at some point, or that gets preserved in time, keeps adding to this whole like database or of what things can be done with painting and ways to paint and things that can be represented in painting. Again, don't want to get too specific with the concepts, because I think this can be applied to more than just specific disciplines of paint or whatever. So this all builds up gradually with time, and it grows. So let's say that again, as I started off, this whole blob, let's call it Booba, which seems to be the more the more something that everyone will agree on for some reason. This blob is all that has been painted so far that we have memory of, or that we as a species, or that let's be a bit more concrete, I guess, actually, and say this is the whole database that is used to feed the AI, right? So the AI has this, this. Let me switch to laser pointer again. The AI has this database to work off of, right? And as I've said, and if you believe me and if you agree with me, I guess, AI only ever averages and never really does anything spectacular, or never really does anything new. It only mixes concepts. It only ever mixes concepts in ways that, God, I'm doing this two-dimensionally and I'm thinking of it and it's not two-dimensional at all. You can, like, AI doesn't think in 2 dimensions only, so it would be a lot easier to, like, AI, okay, how AI works, God, I'm doing this for myself at this point. I'm sorry. This is probably going to be unintelligible, but I'm too interested by this point, you know. I caught a bit of a hyper-focus bug. Sorry about that. All right, AI learns by taking every... It's separated in tokens. Tokens are like bits of information that are, classified by the AI. And each token gets assigned an immense amount of dimensions. Or not dimensions, but properties, sure. In what is essentially dimensional analysis. So, for example, I don't know. There's a token that says... actually, you know what? I just got an idea. You'll have to... Actually, again, I'm just doing this for myself. So let's say this is the boba... iness, the boobiness of something, of a token, you know. Let's say a token is... also, iness should go with a Y, I'm pretty sure. And let's ditch the quotes as well. Okay. What the fuck is that? Did I draw this? Whatever. Okay, so this axis is the boobiness of a token. Let's say the token is... Maybe not this. Let's draw a token that will be, you know, what we input into the AI. Or one of the simple, you know, the single data points that the AI processes when you make it learn something. Okay, so let's do... Actually, I'm gonna have to do several tokens, aren't I? Okay. Okay, so this is one token. This is another token, and this is... Let me do it a bit less shittily. Why don't you let me? There we go. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, so this is the boobiness, and this is the... or the bobiness. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. And this is the... the kickiness of it, right? If you don't understand what I'm doing, go watch some video from Tom Scott that says, just look up Booba and Kiki on Google and you'll understand what I mean. It's the easiest way. I have to figure it out right now. And again, I don't think anyone's going to give a shit about any of what I'm saying. So I'm doing this to stop thinking about it myself. You know, I need to get it out of my head and into some paper because I'm obsessed now. So you got different shapes that the machine is gonna, you know, be analyzing, and you know, it puts each individual. Well, let's just number them. It puts each individual token or piece of information. It places it by comparing it to, you know, data that has been, you know, graded by humans, essentially, that it knows. You know, it has a data set that it's feeding off of, you know, that basically has the solutions to, you know, the task that is being tasked to the AI. So there's boobainess and there's a kickiness to everything, right? Let me also do maybe a third one. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just for me. I mean, not for me. This is just, you know, I'm being super fucking finicky about my work. as usually I do. And this is 4. And so there is a boobainess and a kickiness. The machine has a lot of tables with a lot of shapes similar to these, and knows where each shape lands on each of the tables that it has, assigned to it. So, it knows that this first image is very kiki, so it's gonna go here. It's not very booba-y, it doesn't have a lot of roundness, but it is kiki-ish. So it goes in the kiki, high on the kiki axis, low on the booba axis. This one, it has a fair bit of booba, and also a fair bit of kiki. So I guess it can go maybe. It's not as kiki as this one, and not as booba-y as this one, which I now realize I haven't drawn a proper booba shape, but whatever. Actually it has 3 lobes, so it's gonna be fairly booba-y and also a bit kiki. So I'm gonna put it here. This is where it is. This is where it lands in the booba kiki dichotomy charts. Then there is this one, which again, I think the concept, if you haven't understood it by now, if I haven't been able to explain it, I should say, by now I'm probably not gonna make it clear enough. But I'm gonna put 3 maybe here, and then 4. It's not very booba-y or kiki. It doesn't have any sharp turns or lobes, so I guess it goes low on both ends. Okay, so now we have this, as a two-dimensional, table or XY chart, and what the AI does with each of these pieces of information is not just assign it on 2 axes. It assigns it on, I don't remember how much. I read a video that said the exact values. I don't remember exactly. I think it was like 1,000 something. Basically, think about this in dimensions. You have one. You can have a single axis. Where you put something. Depending on think about a thermometer. Maybe it has a single value, so it just goes on an axis that determines the value. Basically, just think of a number, I guess, that describes a part of something, or how something is in some particular aspect, right? So this would be 1 dimension. This is 2 dimensions. The 3rd dimension, which is as high as I can go, in terms of drawing it, at least. I mean, I'm probably not gonna be able to explain more than conceptually what a 3rd dimension is, what the 4th dimension, what 4 dimensions are. I mean, well, actually, conceptually is not too hard to explain. Okay, so now imagine that instead of just a flat table, this is a 3-dimensional table, and you can have maybe there's a booba, a kiki, and a okay. Let me fucking come up with a 3rd thing. I think could be in terms of shape, and a tokeness. I don't know. There's probably some more info on the booba and kiki thing that I don't know about. Again, I've only watched the Tom Scott video, so I'm very, very unlearned on this fucking any of this. Really, I'm not a fucking professional on any of these fucking issues, so take anything I say with a grain of salt. What did I say? Tokeness. Tokeness, sure, that'll do. Okay, and let's say that this is a perfect toke shape, and so this would be, maybe would be very low on these 2 axes, but then it would be like fairly far down in the 3rd axis, right? Like imagine this is a cube or a 3-dimensional grid, and just assign this to the tokeness scale at this point. And so the AI keeps adding, I can't add any more dimensions because that's not how space works. But it is it's as far as I can go visually. Again, I'm a very visual person, so I couldn't have understood any of this if I hadn't put it down on paper and seen it, or not put it down in paper necessarily, but I kind of have to compare it to physical things that I can imagine in my head, at least, so I can understand things. Probably the reason I'm fucking awful at math. Very hard to put into thought, into not thought, into visual things. Whatever. Besides the point. So imagine there was a fourth dimension. That is, to make a fourth dimension, you just need another, to add another perpendicular line to this, to this whole grid. That is not possible with how space works in this, in general. But the AI somehow, let's assume it does it like this. It just keeps going and keeps assigning, values, and every single, data point that it takes assigns to some values that we don't know exactly what, as far as I know. Maybe they figure it out, or maybe I've misunderstood, the what I've learned about AI. Again, it's a lot of interpretation on my part, so pinch of salt, as I said. So the AI keeps classifying all of these data points. Let's say it has a fifth, a sixth, a seventh. It has an immense amount of information that it has to classify, and that is the process. I think that is what the process of training an AI is, essentially, right? You just teach it how to classify all these things by rewarding it, or not rewarding it, but making it do it a lot. And then, when it does well, you encourage that behavior in whatever ways you find. And when it does poorly, then you don't reward the behavior, right? Again, as I said, I think I've said this, but I'm going to reiterate because it's probably very discombobulated, this whole fucking explanation. But it is different in the ways it is all checked against human assigned data, right? And this is a very broad thing in general, because again, we don't know exactly what we don't know what any of boobiness, talkiness, or kickiness the AI is using as a parameter to assign these to. So we go by much broader, whatever terms, which is just looking at the thing and seeing if it looks good. You feed it, I don't know, a picture of a dog, and you ask the AI, hey, what is the dogness of this picture? And the AI will tell you, well, this is certainly a dog, and it's, if it is a dog, what you showed it, then you go, good, keep going this way. And then if it isn't, then you go, bad. It's into the fires of hell with you, or whatever you do with AI that misbehaves. But yeah. Then after this whole process is completed, you can ask the AI to give you a prediction. That's, I think, I don't know anymore, but I think that's essentially what all predictive, what it's called predictive AI. That's all predictive AI does. It just predicts an outcome from an input, predicts an output from an input. So if you have, God, with the fucking training, how do I explain this shit? God damn it! Like, I barely comprehended myself, so it's even harder for me to actually explain it in a way that would be understandable to anyone. Maybe, I don't know, maybe someone's as stupid and dumb as I am, and they'll be able to, I'll be able to get through to them. Okay, so predictive AI essentially does predictions, as the name implies. Yeah, but there's also generative AI, which is also kind of doing predictions, isn't it? It's just being a bit more... Okay, I guess there's that difference, sure. Oh, God. Sure, okay, so By the way, I fucking despise AI. I don't know if I made this clear before the video. Or not before the video, during the video, because I know I've said I fucking hate AI, and this is where it all stemmed from. But I'm not sure how well I'm gonna be able to cut this shit up if I decide to do it in the end, because I feel more and more like a dumbass by the second. Anyway, what AI does is you give it an input, and it spits out an output that it predicts is the thing, is what you've tried, you're expected. It does what you expect it to do, basically. So, for example, if you have text AI, right? I mean, I hate what is called generative AI, at least. I don't mind AI being used for like cancer research or like, figuring out other stuff that might be unknown and unknowable to humans, but if a machine can analyze it with thousands of dimensions of parameters, it's all fine. So text AI, the input, again, I've never heard anyone say this, and probably I should have by this point if I was right. If I have, I've never understood them. If anyone has said this, I've never understood them properly again. So a pinch of salt. Third time I say this. Input for a text AI would be, it depends. It can be an order. It can be, like, tell me this. Or a bit of text that it just has to continue. Or I don't know, a picture. It can be really anything. There's no, like, I hate thinking about these kind of stuff because I can never relate it to physical things, so it's very hard for me to comprehend it most of the time. Again, you're probably more intelligent than me if you're watching this. So a picture or image, whatever, right? So this would be the input, and the output is whatever it has been trained to do. The general terminology, I guess, would be sort of like what it thinks you expect, or what it thinks you want, or what it's, I don't know exactly what terms to use, but from an order, tell me this would be the text that proceeds, or a correct answer to the order, which would be telling, I mean, this. Okay, let's have it be a bit cheeky about answering orders, and the bit of text, you say continuation. Again, I'm certain that there's bits that aren't be able, like, I'm absolutely not going to fit with my whole explanation. Hopefully they don't make it completely fucking moot, and there's still a bit of a point to be, derived from it. Maybe not. Again, not a professional in any of this. I don't fucking have a clue what I'm talking about most of the time. Very stupid a person I am, so you just have to hear me speak for a bit. Still, I like to think, even if I'm bad at it. Of the text, okay, that would be the second. This would be the output of the second prompt. Again, yeah, sure. These are all prompts. I think they're called in the AI world. Okay. And so you will be a continuation of the text, and the picture would be, well, a picture's description. If you're expecting, text. This is what I'm going on about currently. So text. Oh, sorry. Yep. Right. So that's about the the way I understand it to be. Probably a lot of, little sides of it that I don't understand, or I haven't explained, or I can't explain, visually, which are just gonna get not touched upon by me. I'm sure there's people who've talked about this. Again, I fucking hate AI, so I don't spend my whole time, learning about it. I'm very out of touch with it. I think I've a rudimentary, I guess, understanding of it. So this is as much as I can explain in a way that isn't that is cohesive. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Again, I have the ADHD. This is a video I'm probably just doing for me. I'm still gonna throw it out there. If someone gets a kick out of it and wants to ask me about anything or correct me, probably more likely, then go right on ahead. I'm all ears. It's disgusting. You should see me, walking down the street. It's all people screaming all around. Okay, so I finished the output input thing. Okay, I think that's about all I need, right? In terms of... Okay, well, so returning back, this is... again, I said this is any concept. This is painting right now because I wrote it at the beginning of the talk without realizing text, would be an easier way of explaining it. But whatever, you can sub for text if you want. The amount of data that gets fed to the AI, I think I've said this already, but I'm going to reiterate or repeat. I think I'm going to stop fucking talking about my own thoughts without... Whatever. Again, not very good at explaining stuff. Said this a million times by now. This is the whole database that the AI has access to and has learned from and has used as a, as a bit of information to learn from. Now, when you ask the AI to give you anything, to give you, a painting, it has learned all of the painting information there is to be. It knows all the paintings. When you ask a painting of it, you're gonna get an average. As I said before, God damn it, this was before well, whatever. I'll see a way of fucking editing, or I won't edit it at all and let this be cast onto oblivion, as it probably deserves. What I was on about is AI averages things, right? Because all the information it has, it is, is restricted to these bits, within the, the database of information it has access to. And as far as I've seen, I don't have any proof that AI cannot do what I'm, cannot not average something. There's no proof I have about this. I think that I read a video. I didn't read a video. I watched a video that said that to get the AI to a point where it can actually expand upon this, it would be like such an obscene amount of information. There's like simply not enough matter in the universe to contain it or display it. But whatever, again, besides the point, doesn't matter. Not what I'm getting at. Currently, I'm talking about right now. And as far as I can see, the foreseeable, as far as I can imagine, the foreseeable future, AI only can ever approximate, based on the data that it has, and it needs to average, this whole concept. Or average between whatever you ask it, I guess. Let's say I said this was cubism, and this was data, and this was puntillism, and this was whatever the fuck else. Doesn't matter. If you ask the AI to give you a drawing of a dude, or let's go for something a bit more specific, I guess. Let's give me a cubistic interpretation or a cubist interpretation of a tree, it'll do, a cubist interpretation of the tree, sure, but it won't have any capability of breaching through the threshold, I guess, which is, I'm going to call this surface now, the threshold of what's been done, right? In my belief. Now, there is... Okay, at the beginning of the video, I said this was temporary. The center was the first guy who wrote anything ever, or painted anything ever. I'm going to say it also, it is also like a distal center point. And by that, I'm pretty sure I just made the word up, but by that I mean, since all art is derivative, at least that is what I believe about art. All art is a derivative of something else, right? So the further out it is from the center, I guess, again, would really find another fucking dimension to represent this handy, but fuck it, whatever. Can't think that much in 3 dimensions either way, so 2D works for me best. The further out you go from the center, the more you need to walk away, in a way, or think away, I guess, from the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to painting, right? Like the most basic concept, the most basic thing you can consider when you think of painting, right? Which I don't know what it would be even. I guess depositing a pigment or something into something else and then having that be visible. I don't know. The more abstraction, I guess, is the word, even though I don't know if it's exactly correct. The more, this is my own fucking explanation, so I should know, but I don't. The more abstraction you need to do, right? The more you need to build up on other things to get to that point. It's, let's say, that's mostly correlative with time, I guess, so it's not really that different, but let's assume now it's not about time and it's more about abstraction or moving away from your original painting concepts, whatever they might be. So, god damn it, I'm fucking a mess. I'm just a mess, and every time I explain something I get more messy with it. This is all built upon against by humankind and whatever we've done, and now we reach this point at the current bubble, we're calling Booba, of the things that can be conceived of as painting that we know of, or the noosphere of things that can be considered painting, or that can be conceived of that are related to painting in the human brain. What a mess. Now, the AI can only ever average between a set of information that it has been given. It might use a weighted average, so to speak, on whatever you're asking of it. It might use whatever you're asking to predict what data points it should consider more important, maybe, that of all the information that has learned from, and which ones might be less important to your request. So let's say, again, picture of a tree. Very easy concept. In cubist style, it would just do whatever. Let's say the concept of trees here, okay? This is a conceptual point in the whole... God, this is getting messier by the fucking second. It just averages those out, and then, comes out with the image of a fucking tree in cubism, which has certainly already been explored, certainly exists already. Now, while the AI, as I've said, isn't really able to reach this, because it doesn't have any data that is here that it could pull from, right? If you have these and that point and that point, the average would be around here. you can never really get outside of, you know, you can never expand meaningfully in a direction that requires, you know, more abstraction that's ever been put before or whatever. God, what a fucking mess. I'm starting to lose the thread myself. I can't imagine anyone still holding on. But is what I'm getting at. AI can average between maybe something in cubism and, you know, whatever this was, data. Well, data was this, whatever. This is data now. Maybe the AI could, you know, figure something out in between cubism and data that you might ask of it. And that might have not been explored. But first, it would be still, you know, sort of a, you know, still averaging out, even if, you know, no one's explored to mix. Again, 2D is a very bad shape to explain this because I can only do mixes of two things. But let's say, you know, there's more, you know, this is a 3D or 3D cloud, whereas there's more than just art here, and there's like concepts, human concepts, or things, movies, or God, this is getting impossible to hold on to. It extrapolates basically, so it might find something here that isn't, you know, as hard to expand upon than something maybe here or here would be, because, you know, this requires, I don't want to ascribe some kind of human power to human beings. You know, I don't think we think any different from what I think a machine could potentially be able to think. But certainly not this AI. It is what I'm, at the end of the day, trying to get at. So that is the reason why I believe that AI so far, and for the foreseeable future, as I have understood it, will never really be able to expand in meaningful ways. It might, you know, do a thing that no one's ever done in terms of like mixing two art styles or whatever, you know, which would be what's here, right? Which wouldn't be that hard because, you know, it's not as far away abstraction wise, right? But the God, this is making no sense. Like, I keep realizing this makes no sense, and I keep fucking going instead of, I don't know, quitting. Very stubborn, I am. Sorry about it. But yeah, at most, what you could achieve, you know, within, you know, if you left AI to its own devices to make all, you know, all of the possible, you know, things that it could come up with, right? You give it an infinite amount of time and an infinite amount of processing power, and you just tell it, all right, make everything, you know, everything painting. Then the AI would eventually probably make you a circle, right? It would average. Well, actually, I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know exactly what this, you know, what set of points you could average out, or what the average of the picture would end up looking like. That's for a mathematician. I guess it would draw like, okay, yeah, it would eliminate all concavities, I guess, you know. So that is the maximum, you know, amount of, you know, artistic effort that an AI could really muster at something, right? I mean, I asked right, as if I even could recall this whole explanation properly. And so, again, what I was getting at is the inherent, I think, you know, uncreativity that I feel AI sort of gives off. The vibe of being completely unoriginal. And, you know, this is a thing I've tried to figure out, you know, at mostly unduly times, but, you know, when the need strikes, you know, I need to fucking figure some, you know, thing I might be interested in at that exact whatever. Okay, let me reset my fucking brain for a second, and then I'll stop the fucking stream and go to bed. That is, I think, the most I've been able to simplify the reasons why AI, again, currently, don't know if they'll make something different, but from the system I've talked about, it doesn't feel like it has any ability to. I don't feel like the AI would be able to really figure out anything that isn't, just extrapolation from its, its information. Which again, extrapolation is basically just going off of. God damn it. Existing information, and I don't know exactly what it is that allows us as humans to to actually break these limits. I haven't gone this far in my own processing of all this fucking bullshit I just fucking vomited into your ears, but it's not a it's not a thing I believe it can do. Pretty much, that's the only thing I can say with any confidence, I guess. From what I've learned and from what I hear other people say, mostly, it's just not possible for AI right now to innovate in any meaningful way. It might be able to again breach a bit of these gaps because no one's ever done a picture of a kitten on with in the style of data with that this is two-dimensional. Let's assume each point was this is data and this is a kitten, and then there's a third dimension that has, I don't know, octopi in it. There's different octopi species. I'm losing the thread. Fucking stat. Then the AI, would be able to make you, a cat octopus data painting. Again, dadaism isn't painting either. I'm such a dumbass. I just realized. It's more of an art form than a fucking painting style. I should have used cubism or something a bit more, whatever. Yeah, I think that's all. Again, makes no sense. I can barely put it to words. I struggle a lot with explaining things. But sometimes, I have to draw things because I get obsessive about stuff and I need to, figure it out. And, drawing stuff for me works very well usually because, when it can be done, this is one of those areas where it doesn't really translate good to physical things. So I struggle a lot with thinking about this stuff. Regular people probably would be able to understand it a lot better than I can explain it even, but whatever. Also, ESL, give me a break. At any rate, that was my thought, I guess, for today. On how can I resume this whole fucking verberic stream of nonsense? Why AI cannot be, or why for me at least, it seems like AI is just incredibly unoriginal and just boring in general. Just makes boring images. It might be funny when you see when the concept that it's drawing is interesting, sure, but it's it's not due to the quality of the painting. As I said before, it's not a technical skill that distinguishes it and sets it apart from other AI made things. It's a human going, oh, wouldn't it be funny when Mario, if you saw Obama angry at a drive-through and trying to come in through the window as the place was on fire, whatever. I think I've seen a meme with that, and that is funny, but it isn't funny because it was drawn very well or painted very well, whatever. It was an image, it wasn't a drawing, but because it is conceptually very funny. And that is, again, what AI can do in terms of mixing concepts. No one's ever thought of Obama going through a drive-through, or no one's ever drawn Obama going through a drive-through, and put that into written or drawn art. Okay, I think I'm getting the thread back, actually, and put it down into written or drawn art. But someone had to give the order to extrapolate between Obama and people going into drive-throughs and people getting annoyed and trying to walk into or jump into drive-through windows, right? So at the very end, it's still a human that's coming up with the concept of that particular thing. That is, the few instances where I find AI to be entertaining or interesting or original. It's not because the AI has done something particularly good. It's just doing what it knows. It's just the fact that a human has given it a funny set of or a funny prompt. And I guess that kind of humor resonates more with people when it's drawn. If someone told you about the situation of Obama jumping through a drive-through window, probably wouldn't be as funny by just having the situation described to you. But when you put it into picture, I don't know, it becomes funnier. Same with this whole explaining shit stuff that I'm talking about. But yeah, that is about all my brain has to give anymore, to be honest. I'm very exhausted, and I'm not gonna finish playing Ready or Not today. It'll have to be tomorrow. So drink water, I guess. Don't use AI. Pay actual artists if you're making a game. It'll be better for both the economy and the artist and your game. So please do that, and call your mom, tell her you love her, and do some of that. God knows I wish I could do that, but whatever. Have a good one.